guys, welcome back to Fair Iron and Customs. I'm Michael. We're over here at Glens shop, and today we're back working on the 91. It is 91?
Yeah, 91 Mini.
91 Ranger mini truck. Y'all have seen this truck on the channel before. We built the, we have videos where we did the wheel tubs and built all the bed covers and stuff for this on the channel. Unfortunately, none of the rest of the suspension stuff is on the channel because that was before I started doing YouTube. Today we're putting an evaporator core in this truck. The evaporator core on a Ranger is located right here. It's you should be able to get to everything from under the hood. Fortunately, on a Ranger, I mean, some of the bolts are a pain in the butt to get to down around the bottom, but it is what it is. So what I was wanting to say on this vintage, if y'all are running this vintage of vehicle, they came from the factory with R12. And I'm not even sure if you're able to get R12 anymore. You shouldn't be able to. It's not saying there's still a few cans floating around of it out there. But if it hadn't been converted to 134A, which uses these style fittings, you will need to convert it. Also, it's a good idea to go ahead and replace everything in the AC on this to make sure you get all the old mineral oil out of it. R12 uses mineral oil for a lubricant. 134A uses either PAG oil or ester oil as a lubricant, and those lubricants are not compatible with each other, and they will swell the seals up and cause leaks. So basically, we've replaced everything on this truck in the air conditioner system except for the evaporator core, and he's still got a leak. You can get dye. Did we ever put dye in this truck, Glenn? You can get dye or fluorescent dye where you can wear a pair of special glasses and use a fluorescent light, and wherever you got a leak, it'll show up. And typically on one of these, if your evaporator's leaking, it shows out at the drain. The drain on a Ranger. It's been a while, guys, because I took the box out of mine. It's going to be on the bottom of the box. Either that or it will leak out of the bottom of the box. He's got the fender wells taken out. We're talking about drain is, guys, I'm still hurting. There's the drain right there. That's where you would see your leak show up. So we're going to get started pulling this thing out. So you've got several bolts that run around the case. You need to take the accumulator off. He's got a couple of busted lines here. You can fix this with a little small vacuum hose. So we're going to have to come up with something to fix that to get his vacuum working on the inside. This is actually the vacuum that runs all your mode doors and blend doors and stuff inside the cab off of these vacuum operated systems. So we need to pull the accumulator off, and since we're not disconnecting it here, we don't necessarily need the quick disconnect line, the little tool for taking these off. But if you're working on Fords that use these style connects, you will have to have the tools to disconnect them to get them taken apart. So let's see, I think it's like a 1 inch maybe. Glenn is doing most of the work here today. I'm gonna be assisting. My back is still in really bad shape. I told y'all that on last week's video. So we're about to get after it, and when it gets to another point where we've got some bolts taken out and we're getting ready to take something apart, we'll come back. All right, guys. So I'm getting down here. I'm gonna get these bolts out. There may be no. This is on this side of the box. We don't have to get those. I think there's a couple down here and a couple up that side that you'll be best to get from the bottom, and you may have to take the fender well out to get to it. Just thought I'd show a few things about this while we're down here. So on a square body or even any Ranger that you're gonna with a twin I-beam setup that you're gonna lay out. This truck has it's dream beams, isn't it? It's got dream beams on it. I think there's a 3-inch drop, 3-inch drop beams. They're fabricated beams, I-beams, left and right, to give it a 3-inch drop. And then to get it to completely lay out, you have to do stuff like this to cut holes in the, for the steering to go through whenever it lays on the ground. So, but like I said, we did this, I don't know if it's, was it 2020?
Yep, COVID, beginning of
so it was just before I started doing the channel was when we built this truck. So, I mean, still, everything still looks pretty good. We found some places we didn't paint, but, anyway, we're going to build some fender wells for this sometime down the road. I'm not sure when we're going to do it, or he was talking about just getting some already formed fender wells to go in it. I don't know what we're going to do yet. We'll get into that sometime or another. So I'm going to get these bolts out, get this thing tore apart, and, we'll come back in just a few minutes. Okay, guys, so I got all the screws out. You have 3 across here. There's 2 at the bottom. There is 1 right there that's an 8. There's 3 down this side. 3 down this side that's an 8mm. This is an 8mm. There's 110 on a stud here and 110 on a stud at the very bottom that you have to get from the bottom. And then your box should be ready to come out. I think that's all the screws. Nope. 1 more right there. So we got one screw that I missed right there. Guys, if y'all don't have one of these electric ratchets, they're pretty nice. They're not as, to me, they don't work as well as an air ratchet, but, for doing stuff like this, it's nice to have. Save on, the old wrist there. Help save on the carpal tunnel. All right, that's probably about as far out as we need to get that box. Come on, baby. Are you sure we didn't put an evaporator in this thing?
Nope.
Be careful.
We did not put one in here. Not to my knowledge, we didn't. You still on?
Yep, still running.
Ah. Fun day neighborhood.
Glenn don't like to be on camera.
I don't care no more. I don't care.
Hang on a second. We got, yeah, I'm making you a leak.
Is it leaking?
Yeah, it's leaking right there. I seen it drip.
I may still have a leak there.
Let's pull it out. Take it over there to the bench.
That's not factory.
No, it's not. That's why I asked.
It's not the leak. I'm probably sure it's not the leak.
Because we didn't replace this, but Glenn bought this thing, used, of course. Yeah, maybe it was leaking, like, right there. It doesn't seem to be wet, though. Okay. So, on this thing, before we get too carried away, on your air conditioning, you have 2 that goes on. No.
Oh, it goes on that one?
Yep. On air conditioners, you have 2 ways of controlling your high side and your low side. I kind of wish we'd have went ahead and got a orifice tube for this. You got a small pair of needle nose right there. That'll work. See if we can get this orifice tube out without destroying it. So inside on your evaporator, this is the low side. This is the high side line. This is where the compressor comes in, and your orifice tube actually. Glenn, if you'll hold that for me, please. Yep. So we'll clean that up a little bit. It ain't got no gunk in it, so it's probably okay. But your orifice tube is what controls your high side. This creates the pressure in your system, and when it comes out the back side of it, you have a low pressure area, and that is what actually causes the cooling the gases. And if you read about air conditioner theory or take class about air conditioners theory, it says the low side doesn't make the vehicle cool, it actually removes the heat from the vehicle. Anyway, we're not going to argue about theory. I'm going to put that right back in over here, and that is your orifice tube back in your high side. Guys, we're going to slip this back in. We're going to slip this back in and get the box put back in, and we'll come back. All right, guys, we got it back together. We got a couple of other issues we're going to work on before we charge it up. So like I said, it's pretty simple, self-explanatory. I slipped the evaporator back in, and I was able to get the case around it and everything. So we do think we got a leak maybe at the switch. It may actually be the accumulator dryer that's leaking on this thing. And I think that's something I didn't say a while ago. You actually have two kinds of ways to control your refrigerant and air conditioner. One is an orifice tube, and one is an expansion valve. And let's see. I don't know. Maybe no. That don't look like it's really been leaking there either. You can see we put a little fluorescent dye in it. It's that yellow color, green color. If I had my black light or a fluorescent light, it would show that up, and it would kind of look white. Let me see the inside of this switch. I don't know, mate. No, it's hard to say. It's really hard to say. We tried to replace the factory switch with a aftermarket switch when he first did this, and there was a problem with the aftermarket switch. I can't remember if it was not whether it was leaking. Glenn seems to think that it wasn't working at all.
Look at this. When I screw it down, it hits down before it gets tight. So I don't know if that's not letting it seal good.
I don't know. You know, it's the problem with running aftermarket stuff. These old Ford systems with these with the lock where you didn't have bolt screws holding the lines together. The gnats are bad. Where you didn't have, the screw fittings holding the lines together were bad about leaking, even when they were new. You'd have problems with the O-rings sealing up on them. That's tight enough, Glenn. It only needs a little snug. It don't need to be like cranked down to. Anyway, so like I said, that's it for this one, guys. And I'll see y'all next week.